Hello everyone, my name is Vipul Jain and today I am going to tell you something which is a very buzzing technology in today's world, which is ChatGPT, which is developed by a company named OpenAI. So let's talk about the agenda for this particular video. What I'm going to show you today, that I'll tell you what is ChatGPT, what are the different buzzwords related to this particular technology, what are the different ChatGPT timelines when it started, and what are the different important announcements which you should know, different use cases related to ChatGPT, and then I'll talk about something called prompt engineering. So, ChatGPT is being there from November last year, but now why I have decided to create this video now. So there might be multiple videos on this particular technology, on this particular topic or buzzwords, which you can find over the internet when you search for ChatGPT. But in this particular video, I have tried my best to make it unique and to give you the latest information and tell you about what is prompt engineering. So let's deep dive into this topic. I'll start with how this complete process or journey started of natural language processing, how the evolution of natural language processing from 1950s or 60s it started, and then what is the current scenario. So this is complete evolution of NLP I will be talking about. So in 1950s to 80s there was some other approaches, early approaches, for example symbolic NLP or expert system. Then it moves to 1980s and 2000s, which we say is statistical NLP, where we have machine learning, which got introduced. From 2000 to present and 2018 to present, the scenario has been changed in the NLP world, natural language processing, where we have the transformers model, pre-trained language models, and LLMs, large scale models. So these are the basic models on which this technology, Chat GPT, generative AI, all these things are dependent upon. Now, if I talk about specifically Chat GPT, so Chat GPT, GPT stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer. So, what is Generative Pre-trained Transformer, Chat GPT? We'll see all this now. So, this is the official definition of Chat GPT. I will say Chat GPT official definition that we have trained a model. A model has been trained basically, which is called the Chat GPT, which interacts in a human like way or in a conversational way. So it has been, I will say, trained on a very big data set or very big data model. And the dialogue format makes it possible for the Chat GPT to answer the questions, whatever questions has been asked, and challenge incorrect premises and reject inappropriate request. So basically, what is this GPT stands for? GPT is generative. Generative means it can predict the next word, which is the language model. Pre-trained, previously trained on a large data set or large amount of data. So this is already trained on very huge amount of data. That's why it is called pre-trained. So we are talking about generative pre-trained transformer. Now transformer means encoder decoder based neural network, and chat GPT means fine tuned for conversation. So basically Chat GPT is nothing but, in my own words, I'll say that it's an interface or kind of a chatbot through which you can do the conversation, and it can give you the response by predicting the next words. That is a whole model. But what is the most important thing about Chat GPT when it got introduced? So I'll talk about some very peculiar things here, that Chat GPT, I will say, is the fastest growing consumer app in the internet history. So if I talk about mobile phone, internet, Facebook, different companies, different applications, right? Maybe it's WhatsApp, Instagram. Now they took around 4.5 years, 3.5 years to reach 100 million users. But if I talk about ChatGPT, within 2 months, it reached 100 million users. So that is the, you can say, the fastest growing app in any internet history till today. Now, coming to the second topic of this video, the buzzwords. So, what are these buzzwords? GPT, LLMs, Lambda, BART. You might be hearing all these words day in, day out nowadays. So, what are these? So, LLMs are nothing but large language model. It's a class of AI technology. When I say AI technology, is artificial intelligence, right? So, a large language model, it's like a, I will say, supercomputer that can understand and generate human like languages, because it is trained on huge amount of data, and that huge amount of data could be from textbooks, from audios, from videos, different sources, which helps to learn how people use language, and then it helps the chat gpt to generate basically new sentences in a natural language. That is called the llm, large language model. Now, Lambda and GPT-4, these are the specific LLMs. Lambda means language model for dialogue applications, and GPT-4, these are the specific LLMs. Bard and ChatGPT. So, as I said, ChatGPT is nothing but an interface, right, to the specific large language model. Large language model is GPT 3.5, GPT-4. These are specific LLMs. Bard is again a chat interface, I will say, which has been developed by Google, whereas ChatGPT has been developed by another company called OpenAI. So, Google and OpenAI are the companies that brought you these specific LLMs. Now, important announcements and timeline. This is very important to know that what happened and when it happened. So, in January 2023, Microsoft actually invest $10 billion in ChatGPT maker OpenAI. Right. So, if I talk about the timelines of GPT, particularly GPT, so you see here GPT 1 was released in 2018. Then in 2019, GPT 2 was released, and the story goes on. Finally, on 30th November 2022, GPT 3.5 was released, and then where it was Chat GPT was also introduced, because Chat GPT is nothing, as I said, Chat GPT is an interface. It's an interface to use those LLMs. LLMs is GPT. Now, the current GPT model, GPT LLM, which is there in the market, is GPT-4. This is the current version, which was released on 14th March 2023. So, GPT-4 was launched on 14th March 2023, and then Google introduced their own interface to these LLMs, which is called Bard, on 21st of March 2023. If I talk about specific timelines from Microsoft, these are the Microsoft AI timelines, that what they launched or introduced in February, January, February, March, and so on. It also includes like Copilot, involvement of Copilot or introduction of Copilot, then GPT enhancements in Power Platform, and then in GPT involvement in Dynamics 365, and then Bing and Edge Copilot using GPT-4. All these different announcements are part of this AI timeline 2023 till now. So, how Microsoft is evolving from ChatGPT to Microsoft 365 Copilot. So I'll talk about first of all ChatGPT. ChatGPT initial version, which was launched on 30th of November 2022, was based on GPT 3.5 model. GPT 3.5 AI model, right? It is free to use. It's still free to use. I'm going to show you now in few minutes that how you can use ChatGPT very easily. It's very easy. All right. So it is based on GPT 3.5 technology. It's free to use, and it was launched on 30th November 2022. That is ChatGPT. Now, what happened after that? As I said, in March 14, 2023, GPT-4 was launched. So ChatGPT, or maybe precisely OpenAI, they come up with a subscription model which they called as ChatGPT Plus version. Now, since it was based on GPT-4 model, so it was more reliable, more creative, more smarter as compared to its previous version, which is GPT 3.5. So GPT-4 is more powerful in terms of performance, more creative, more smarter as compared to GPT 3.5, its previous version. And then Microsoft introduced GPT in Bing, and Copilot also introduced based on the GPT-4 AI technology. So till here, I have talked about how Chat GPT started, what are the buzzwords in the market. Now we'll talk about specific use cases or maybe potential use cases of Chat GPT. So Chat GPT can be used in NLP, in code generations, answers formatting, test cases, documentation, creating books, writing books, in coding, in summarizing the books, question answers, data generation, and many more. So these are some potential use cases. I am saying some potential use cases. This could be a minimum list, but these are some of the use cases which I like. that writing essays, recommendations, brainstorming, specifically coding, writing and troubleshooting the code. It can tell you that a particular piece of code you have written, and it can improvise or optimize that code for you. So these are some of the capabilities or use cases of ChatGPT. So here I have just given an example. So you see here that if I asked a question to the chat GPT, create an exciting job posting for Power Platform Architect at XYZ company, then you see the response, the chat GPT which has generated for me. It has given the brief introduction, summary, and what are the key responsibilities which are required for a Power Platform Architect. Similarly, if I have asked the question that what are the key takeaways from a particular article which is hosted on internet, so this is sharepointeducation.wordpress.com article which I've asked for. So it has given me the summary or the context of this particular article. So this is the beauty of this AI, or I will say generative AI technology. Now, coming to my last topic for this particular video, and very important, which I think nowadays it is becoming very famous, which is called prompt engineering. How you can refine your prompts. Now, you must be thinking, what is a prompt? Now, prompt is nothing but whatever text or question or maybe instruction you are asking to chat gpt, so you know how to do a task. It determines the results which you will get from the chat gpt. So basically, that if you be very specific while asking the questions, so those are called prompts. So the more specific you will be, the more good answer or better results you will get from the chat gpt or from this generative ai technology. And that is very important to learn nowadays, because you cannot ask a very direct question that what does it this mean. It, instead of, you can say that I am, let's say, 10-year old, or I am doing a phd or something like that. Then you can ask the question, then you will get the better or specific result from the chat gpt. So that is called the refining of the prompts. So for example, explain this like I am 5 years old, compile this into an actionable list, write this in the perspective of. So make this formal, informal, add some humor, sarcasm. All these are just a matter of refining the prompts, how good you can write the prompts while working with ChatGPT. So there are different types of technology when it comes to prompt engineering. I'll not go into the details in this video, but please just have a look that there are different types of prompting: zero prompting, one, and few shot prompting. Now, this is again just an example which I have given on the screen, that explain chat GPT to 5-year old. So what is the response you will get? And if I'll say in another words, in other terms, the prompt I change, what is chat GPT in simple terms? So you see both the responses are different. Now, these are some of the prompts which I like the most, because let's say if I'm from an IT background, from a technical background, so I'm doing programming. So if you have to ask some questions related to coding, so you can say how to merge dictionaries in Python, how to join two data sets in Python. And if you are doing web developments, for example, then you can say I want to build a, let's say, website. Can you generate some HTML for any website? So these are some of the prompts, that how you can write your prompts very effectively. So prompt engineering is the way that how you give your inputs, basically what you ask to the chat gpt, and then or to the generative ai, and what better, how better results you can get. For this particular chat gpt prompts, let me navigate you a very good websites, which is github websites, which gives you very good prompt examples. I will say chat gpt prompt examples. So this is a github awesome hyphen chat gpt hyphen prompts. You please go through this, and you will find that better or very good prompt examples are given in this to start your journey with ChatGPT. For example, act like a Linux terminal, acts as an English translator and improver, acts as position interviewer, and so on. Acts as a JavaScript console, act as a. So this is kind of a acting. You are acting like something, and then you are asking the ChatGPT to give you that particular response. So this is superb. So prompt engineering, I will say, you must try the prompt engineering and learn how to ask questions very specifically to the chat gpt. Last but not the least, I want to show you that how you can work with chat gpt. This is the chat gpt interface, chat.openai.com. You can write or ask any question. For example, explain quantum computing in simple terms. The moment you say explain quantum computing in simple terms, it will start generating the content for you. You can see that the content is getting generated. And similarly, you can ask that I am a 10 years old, then explain chat GPT to me or explain quantum computing to me. And if it generates the response, if you want to get more response, you can definitely write continue, and it will start continuing generating the text for you. So that is the power of generative AI, a text based chatbot, I will say chat GPT. So that's all for this video. I hope you must have got a basic understanding of chat GPT, how it started, what are the different buzzwords, LLM, bard, lambda, chat gpt, and then what is chat gpt 3.5 and chat gpt gpt-4 basic differences. As I talked about, gpt-4 is more smarter, more creative, and from a performance standpoint it is much better as compared to its previous version 3.5. And I also talked about some of the use cases where you can use chat gpt, and finally we talked about the prompt engineering. So that's all in this video. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.